the first question that I have is, what is the average amount of heat strokes you see in a year?
It's more usually associated with other things like dehydration, um, people kind of overdoing it outside in the heat. Um, but we don't keep data specifically on heat strokes uh, in the township.
High temperature, rapid breathing, and nausea are symptoms for both heat stroke and COVID-19. So, how can people differentiate between the two?
A lot of times the differentiate between the two is one, with heat stroke, your body temperature is excessively high, like 104 degrees. You've probably been outside for a long time, exposed to high heat levels. You may be exercising and overdoing and exercising. You will be probably dehydrated, meaning your system doesn't have any fluids. And probably the big thing is our body sweats and perspires because that's the way we our body works to cool itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's constantly working to cool itself. However, with heat stroke, what will happen is the body's ability to help itself cool off will be lost. And so you'll see somebody who's outside who is red, they're hot to the touch, they're not sweating. Where you would expect to see somebody sweating, their body is unable to continue to help them uh, cool the body. So they won't be perspiring or sweating. You won't see beads of sweat rolling down their head. A lot of times they will be red or warm to the touch, where COVID is more a respiratory issue with a fever. This is in a whole nother realm of heat exposure and what you're doing outside.
In your opinion, what is the best way to prevent heat stroke or heat exhaustion?
The best way to prevent it is on real hot days, stay indoors in air conditioning, um, fans, cooling down. A big thing that people can do is hydrate. Even if they're not doing physical activity, believe it or not, our body is still losing fluid. And one of the best ways to combat that is to continuously hydrate. Most of the time, we're all walking around somewhat dehydrated. And so we really encourage people to hydrate with water, like I've got here, bottled water, in such not caffeine drinks, not alcohol drinks, because they have a tendency to pull water out of your cells and you lose more water that way. Um, Electrolytes are good. So if you have a sports drink, a Gatorade, a Powerade, those are okay, as long as you're not drinking them all the time. But for the most part, staying hydrated is a big key to it.
When paramedics arrive on the scene of a heat stroke call, what is their course of action that they take for someone who is suffering of heat stroke?
Well, for everybody, first thing we do is we try to get an assessment. An assessment is trying to figure out what all is going on, not only what's currently going on, but what's medical problems and stuff do they have that might be causing more issues with it. Um, because we gotta treat the whole patient, right? But a lot of times, if they're not sweating and they're hot temperature, we're going to remove tight fitting clothing. We're going to start to actively cool them down with water on them. We can put some ice packs and cooling things like in the under their arms in the groin area, things like that to try to cool the body down, because heat stroke is truly an emergency in that your body's constantly working with you to keep you in what's referred to as kind of homeostasis. It likes certain levels, certain places, and you just feel good. It's kind of like a good way to describe it is you have a birthday party and you eat too much cake, and then after you eat too much cake, you're kind of like, oh, my stomach's kind of nauseated, might have a headache, I don't really feel very good. It's because your body's trying to deal with all that influx of sugar into its system, and it's working at taking care of that, but the body just doesn't feel good. So now think about when your body can't take care of processing something through, like that sugar, or in our case that we're talking about heat stroke, it can't make your body cool down anymore. You're not perspiring, you're not sweating, you're not, because your body does that to evaporate the heat off of you. And when your body can't do that, we need to do that for you. So we're gonna put water on you, kind of splash you with water, get tight clothing off. We're probably gonna start an IV to give you fluids, because we can give you fluids back into your system through an IV, through a vein, than just having you drinking, because you may be feeling nauseated and we give you a bunch of stuff by mouth, you're just gonna throw it up. So this way we can do that. We're gonna get you in the ambulance, turn the air conditioner on, make sure we're cooling you as quickly as we can, because we don't want you to suffer neurological problems. It's your brain is what controls everything, and if it gets too hot, things will not function appropriately. It's kind of like getting mad at your computer and kicking the computer, and it moves the hard drive around, and all of a sudden you're wondering, why is my computer doing strange things? That's the brain of your computer. When your brain it doesn't have enough fluids, electrolytes and such, it starts to make you do different things, and it could pass out. You could go into a coma. You could have a syncope, which is fainting. All sorts of things that are neurologically nausea, vomiting. So we try to take care of and treat all of that. We'll put you on a heart monitor your heart rate, because you can have problems with your heart too. I mean, most of our body is fluid, so we need to maintain that in the right balances. And when our body is unable to help us, it's a very bad place to be.
While people are waiting for you guys to arrive, if it is, a severe case, what are things that people can do for their family member, whoever is suffering from heat stroke, while they're waiting on you guys to arrive on the scene?
Well, if they're just not feeling well, move them to a cool area. Get them under the tree. Get them back in the house in the air conditioning. Get fans of them. Loosen up clothing if they've got tight, constraining clothing on. Put water on them. Kind of mist them with water. That will help to dissipate the heat with them. If they had a seizure, or if they had a seizure, or they're having a seizure because of the heat, just protect them from the environment that they're in. Put something underneath their head, but don't try to control them. Don't try to hold on to them. Just move things out of the way and let them have the seizure. And generally they will stop, quick, in a pretty quick amount of time. If they passed out and they fell to the ground, we just have to be a little bit concerned about, did they hit anything? Did they hit their head? Did they hurt anything else that might be going on? Because again, we look at one thing, we're talking about heat stroke today, but we have to be concerned with the entire body and other medical conditions and problems. If they're dehydrated and they're diabetic, their sugar might be off, which will cause them neurological problems. So we're gonna look at everything and treat them accordingly, and get them to the hospital as quick as we can, because we need to actively cool them down. So if you're out in the public and you see somebody like that, try to get them to sit and quit moving around, exerting themselves. Try to cool them down. A lot of times trying to give somebody a bunch of stuff in their mouth at that point isn't necessarily the best thing to do, because your body may just bring it back up. But cool them, get them to a cool area. Whether it may just simply be getting them under the tree and the shade is there. That may be enough to help them until we get there.
Do you have any other comments or concerns?
We are going to have a very hot week this week. And so, the biggest thing I could tell people is make sure you're staying hydrated, drink water, 7 glasses of water a day at minimum, generally, for everybody. It seems like everybody's carrying around their own water can or bottle nowadays, which is great. Stay hydrated if you have to go outside. If you're going to be going outside to do something, plan for it. Hey, I'm going to go mow the lawn in a couple hours. I know it's going to be hot. Drink some extra water. Prepare yourself for that. Have a large brim hat that you can wear to give you a little bit of shade. Put some sun protection on. Maybe you like wearing a darker t-shirt. Maybe try to find a lighter colored t-shirt to wear, something that won't absorb the heat as much as our lighter colored clothing would do. if all else fails, if it's the grass you're gonna mow, it can wait another day because it ain't gonna grow very much in all the heat we're gonna have in the sun we're gonna have. But just be smart about going outside. It's going to be real hot. Use the air conditioner in your car. Go to the mall and walk around the mall. There they have their air conditioning on. Those things are probably the best thing you can do is just kind of prepare for the heat that's coming. And anytime it's going to be hot out with the humidity and such. I can't stress more. Drink water, stay hydrated. In the right way. Like I said, caffeine, everybody likes their coffees and other beverages and such, but generally speaking, we need water. Water is good. Um, Even for our men and women at the fire department on hot days, we give them water. We'll intermix that with a sports drink like a Gatorade or a Powerade, but we don't want them drinking all Gatorade and all Powerade. We want them to have water and monitor that. That's why, I mean, like I said before, it doesn't sound the nicest, but if you monitor your urine, that is a good indicator for you as an individual to check your hydration status. And if you see that your urine's getting a darker color, barring any medical problems or medicines you're taking that may affect your urine, drink water and hydrate. Be safe.
All right, thank you so much, Chief. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to talk with me. Thank you so much.
Anytime. You take care. Thank you.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.